Hello and welcome back to part five. It's ridiculous. We already on part five and I ain't even gotten through to the halfway point of these notes yet. Whew. All right, y'all. We going through here. So they're at the bowling alley and they're enjoying themselves. And then after they leave the bowling alley, they go back to his apartment. And she's walking around and she's got the camera guy there and he's like, can we have like a moment to just like, have a conversation without whatever the camera guy's name was? And she was like, oh, she's like, take the night. And he was like, okay, all right, good night. So the camera guy leaves and they end up in a conversation. Some of you got a name spouse, he got social media, she got social media, she recording content, they got all this kind of extra stuff that they doing. They got people calling them on the phone. Every time that you're trying to have a moment with them, it's like this, and the other thing. Somebody's trying to get them for something. And it's just that element that it may be a little bit accosting to the fact that you're just trying to have a can we have a minute, just you and I talk like regular people. You kind of got a circus around you. You may not notice it, but can we have a minute? So you may have to tell them, hey, I need you to cool it down, calm it down. And understand this. If God has assigned this person into your life, anything you ask them, 9 times out of 10, you might be afraid to ask them, but they're more than likely going to, as soon as you ask them to do something like that, they'll be like, all right, go. I don't need you. I want to make her feel comfortable. I want to make him feel comfortable. So you will have favor with them enough that they will arrange to give you time, because they didn't call you there to be amidst of all of that stuff. Some of them, they would prefer that. But some of it, you may have to give them a little wisdom because they operate their life in a certain way. Hey, you may have to nudge them and be like, hey, for this, can you give me a little bit of time? Because they're not used to having somebody that will request that. Some people like that. Some people are yes men. Some people, you have to let it be known, hey, I know you are used to people being around you that are XYZ. I'm not that person. And because of that, I don't quite naturally function in all this. So I may need your attention, and I may need for you to adjust to me being in your atmosphere now. It's that element of, I get it, but there's a level of, we need to find a respectable level between the two of us. You understand what I'm saying? So, they start talking about relationships, and he starts talking about his wife and how he was married to his wife for the period of time, and his daughter. And she's like, oh, when do I get a chance to meet your daughter? And she talks about how she was married 4 times. The first one didn't matter because it was only for 48 hours. And then she was married to 2 other people. And then they take a walk, walking the dog that night. So it's that element that they're going to want to get closer to you. They're going to want to do things to get to know you better. And they're not going to be afraid if you suggest something that, oh, I can't do that because I'm... Some of these people, if you know who the Lord is assigning you to, some of these people, they're going to already be kind of adjusted to being that type of person. Their personality outside of that world is that way anyway, meaning they don't really need all of these cameras in their face when they're in their private time. They don't need all of this social media stuff. Hell, some of them, they did half of them are only on social media because it's a business related thing. If they didn't have to do that, they probably wouldn't even post anything on social media. And if you pay attention to some people, they don't post anything from their personal life on their social media. They only post anything related to their public life. And they may post a photo here and there of themselves outside of it. But other than that, so that's just maybe the type of person that you're dealing with. And if that's the type of person you are, you're cool, because they're going to be adjusted to you anyway, because that's the type of person that they are. 9 times out of 10, they selected you out because of the fact that, oh, they're a lot like myself. They don't really, so I'm going to be cool with them in personal time. I don't have to worry about, oh, you're going to be on the camera and you're going to be this and you're going to be that and you're going to be. And for you, if you are an actual social media influencer person that has you're a lower level influencer, meaning, yeah, you are an influencer, but you're below, meaning you ain't all up in the celebrity area, but you are at a level that it's like, oh, you still have to maintain whatever it is that you're doing. Meaning, you got a ministry, then you got to record content for that. You got to you got this that you're doing, you got to record content for that. Your podcast, you got to record content for that, and they will respect you for that. That your world is not going to immediately evolve around their world. You understand what I'm saying? Don't become so wrapped up in that other person, because that might actually pull them away from you too, because they want to see, hey, is this person going to be all up under me? You understand what I'm saying? And some of them may be more respectable of you if you ain't all, what do you want? What? I got my own thing. You got your own thing. Yes, we're in a relationship, but maturity says, I'm going to take my time out to be with you, and you're going to take your time out to be with me. We're going to meet in the middle of this. I'm not going to drop everything that I'm doing for your world, and you're not going to drop everything you're doing for my world. We're going to find balance in between. You understand what I'm saying? The best example I can give you is Hannah and Elkanah. A lot of people have the belief that Hannah, the only reason that she stopped and had children with Elkanah, it's not particularly that she wanted to have kids, but she knew that it made him happy to have kids with her because he loved her. So she wanted kids with him because she knew it would make him happy, not because of the fact that so much that it was her desire in that form of time frame. Some of y'all gonna have to be that Hannah. Yeah, some of you gonna have to be Hannah in this scenario, because some of y'all gonna get pregnant like that, and you're gonna have to sacrifice whatever it was that you were working on because you're gonna have to worry about rearing kids. I saw this happen with if you ever see the young woman Shameless Meyer, she was a social media influencer. She built her entire brand. She watched it come up, break down, and then she was reorganizing herself when she made the decision that she wanted love in her life. So it's that element of you have to make the adjustment for what's coming to you. And with that being said, they're going to adjust. So with that, he has to go to work. And as time is going on, because they're still the hot popular couple in media, he's running from the paparazzi to get to his job in the morning. Some of y'all, as much as you don't like press, they're going to be in your face. Because people are going to want to know why you. Why you? And the more you don't talk to them, the more that they're going to be chasing you to find out more information from you to see if they can find out some holes. It's kind of like the monitoring spirit. Let me monitor and see if I can find something. And you know, with them, gossip media, all that kind of stuff, that's what happens. He goes to the studio with her, and they do all of their the stuff that they're supposed to do, so for the social media to show that he's there. And he said, "Can I stick around with y'all?" And they said, "Sure, why not?" You're going to want to be in their environment. Some of you are called to what it is that they do, and because you're called to what it is that they do, you're going to want to, if they invite you, if it's a musician and they invite you to the studio, you will want to sit there. If it's a basketball player, you're going to want to watch them practice. If they're a real estate agent, you're going to want to find out how they go about doing their deals and stuff like that. If it's a PR agent, you're going to wonder how, you're going to want to know how they do public relations for their clientele. You're going to want to learn things from them. I remember years ago seeing a clip. It was a photograph of Michael Jackson watching Stevie Wonder, which we later found out Stevie was his cousin, when he was a young kid. He was like 11, 12 years old, but he was standing in the back corner watching Stevie do what he did. And we all know what happened to Michael. So it's those elements of being teachable and learning in those moments that is going to position you to be able to do what God's called you to do. Because in some seasons, you're not going to be doing, you're going to be learning. You're going to be watching. You're going to be observing. Okay? So, time is passing. He stays for the shoot. She has a photo shoot, and he goes to the photo shoot with her for guests. He's watching. He one afternoon, his wife, his first and only time you see his wife come into the picture to take the daughter back home from school that afternoon. There is an award show, and he goes to the red carpet with her, and Bastion shows up. Let me say this for some of y'all. I need you to get all hearts and minds clear that there may be a moment, as much as you may not want it to be, as much as you may not want this moment to occur. You might not even care to know about this particular person. You may come face to face with the person that they were in a relationship with before. Whether it be you're at an event, whether it be this person comes by their home, I don't know what it is, but you might come into contact with their ex. And you have to be a grown little man and woman, and you're going to have to handle that with care. Sebastian comes up, he hugs, the three of them take a picture together, and he walks away. He mentions something about Puerto Rico and the fact that he hadn't left yet, and and he was going to leave XYZ. So they go to the event. She ends up going to Paris, and when she goes to Paris, they're on the phone, and she's looking through show footage and all that kind of stuff. Your spouse is still going to be doing what he do. She's going to be doing whatever it is that she do. which I assume that you're going to still do what you do while they're there too. And some of y'all going to be on the phone. Some of your best moments are going to be had having conversation and getting to know each other on the phone, because they might still be traveling when y'all get together. And it's going to show a level of maturity if you are able to adjust to the fact that, yes, they're traveling, and you're not complaining, you're not begging, you're not pleading, you're not what have you. You are allowing yourselves to take those momentary interludes to get to know each other on a different form of intimacy. You understand what I'm saying? Some of your god ordained spouses, as hectic as their lives are, they are romantic people. They give their hearts to people easily if they can see that their hearts will be protected with that person, or at least believe that their hearts are going to be protected with that person. Meaning, you have to cherish the time in which you have with this person. And if they give you their heart, you must understand that it took them something to do that with you. So with that being said, you have to take care of it. The one thing I always pray and add in my prayer, please don't let me hurt this person. Don't let me do anything. What do I need to do to make sure that I got everything out of the way? To make sure that I'm not being triggered, that I'm not allowing doubt, fears, and frustration, all these types of things. Because when this person comes into your life, if they're opening up to you, it can hurt them. Certain things that you do. And it may be unintentional. So you have to get God's wisdom on how to care for their heart. You may operate in one way, and the Lord's showing you, I need you to operate like this, because this is what they need in order to open up to you a little bit more. And you're going to learn this person. And that's what it's about, learning this person. She's in Paris. She's doing the preparation for this private that she does, where she's going to have to do a performance. And he's like, okay, I'm going to let you have the time to do what you need to do. He gets off the phone. She calls back, and she's like, I'll call you. He said, well, you call me anytime. And she's like, I was lonely. I felt like I wanted to call you. And he said, I just got off the phone with you. Y'all gonna have cute moments together. Enjoy your cute moments together. Understand that that's creating an intimacy between the two of y'all. That's going to be specific to the two of you. You're going to have your own little jokes that you have amongst each other that other people ain't going to understand, because it's going to be between the two of you. You're going to have moments, and you're going to learn each other. One thing I like and have always enjoyed, when I was in my last relationship, I was in a dark time when I came into that relationship. I enjoyed laughing. Anytime that person made me laugh, you're going to want to make them laugh, and they're going to want to make you laugh. You're going to have your things that between the two of you make sense to only the two of you. Other people want to look at you, are y'all okay? It's like, yeah, it's between y'all. And that's a blessing. Because these are the things that are going to hold y'all together as things get rougher in certain points and times of your relationship. As long as you find your way back to those intimacies. She's shocked he's getting ready to go to bed. And she's like, it's like only 8 o'clock over there. He's like, I'm not going to bed. I'm just brushing my teeth, because I'm going to brush my teeth before I lay down. And then I'm going to sit and I'm going to read a book. And she's like, oh, okay. And he explains that he has the next day is the math. They're doing practice for the mathalon and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. And it's the next day. They're doing their practice in class. And the guidance counselor comes and interrupts the class and says, all right, did y'all get your waivers signed? And they're like, waivers? He's confused. He didn't know nothing about it. And the two that didn't get their waiver signed, they put them out the room. And here she comes with her team of people. And he's like, what do you do? I thought you had the private thing. She said, she cutely says, I changed my mind. And she's introduced to the class, and everybody's like, oh my God, do we have to keep working on what we were working on? We want to talk to Cat. And if you have a lifestyle, for instance, this man was a teacher, they're going to want to know about your life. So for you, it may not even be that they're trying to know about your life like that. If you don't have a job or anything like that, whatever you do is on social media, they know that. They might come in, and the Lord kind of showed me this in a dream recently, that they might want to take the time to get to know your family. So you might go to a family event and they might come in and be like, just before you get ready to go to the event, they show up and be like, I'm coming with you. And you're like, excuse me? Because they want to know about your life. They want to incorporate them because they're like, I want to know about you. I want to find out about you. So for him, she showed up at the class. And his daughter was in the class at the time. And the daughter said something, and then they point out that she's Lou. And he mentioned something, and then the guidance counselor turns to him and is like, you didn't introduce her to her yet? Are you kidding me? Y'all been how long? Because the daughter had actually previously asked, it's like, can I meet her? Can I? And it's like, no, you don't. I mean, I don't want to influence you and all this kind of stuff. She's like, Dad, Mom wants to meet her. So it's that element is because he's trying to be secure. Some of you have certain things that you don't want this person or may not want this person to have access to because it's personal to you and you guard it with your life. A child, you want to guard that. You don't want to influence or put any unnecessary pressure on that child. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain things that you're going to want to protect. And you're also going to want to protect them. You may find yourself wanting to protect them from your family. You understand what I'm saying? So she comes in and she gives new perspective on how they can get through times of confusion when it comes down to working on their math problems for this math final. So she's like, well, I danced when I messed up the words for this particular performance, and they went and looked up the performance. The geeky kid was like, I'll look it up, and he looked it up and all this kind of stuff. There are elements about certain things that they do that could actually enhance what you do and have a positive impact on it. But you have to allow them to see what you do and observe it and see how what they have can make a positive impact on what it is that you're doing. Because they have not just influence, but what's the word I'm looking for? Experience. And their previous experiences and certain shortcuts that they've determined in order to help them will help you. Some of you have things that the Lord has given you that you hold very dear to your heart. You hold close to your chest like he holds his daughter. Your ministries are like your children. Your music is like your children. Your whatever it is that the Lord has given you, those are your babies. And you're not going to want them to put their hands to it unless the Lord has really just given you clearance and it's like, hey, are we good with this? Because you want to protect these things. So After that day at the school, she's sitting in the living room working on a song, and Lou's sitting on the windowsill talking with her. There are going to be people in your life that this person is going to have a positive impact. Maybe you have cousins, maybe you have nephews, maybe you have what have you. And them being in your life, they're going to become automatic uncles or automatic what have you, great uncles or what have you, to these people in your life. And when they come into contact with these people, it's going to be a culture shock. But they're going to be able to advise these people as a mentorial figure to them, to give them wisdom that you couldn't give them. And they'll understand and see things a little bit differently. You understand what I'm saying? So she ends up giving the daughter a designer bag, and then the daughter goes into the other room and he goes and sits down on the couch with her after kicking her extensions after she dropped it on the floor. And they have a little moment, and the assistant comes in reading, not looking, so she doesn't know that she's not in the room by herself, and starts saying, "Wheels up at 8 a.m. for Puerto Rico," knowing he knew that Bastion was supposed to be going to Puerto Rico because that was where they were supposed to have their honeymoon or something like that. But he delayed the trip because she thought that he had already left. Remember when they met at the event, he was like, I hadn't left yet, because she was like, yeah, you were supposed to go to Puerto Rico. He hadn't left yet. So evidently she was thinking about going and meeting him, or they had whatever going on. And he was like, look, I don't want to get in the way of whatever it is that you got going. I'm here temporarily, what have you. If you think Bastion is the person you want to be with, I will drive you to the airport myself. But if you don't, they're having a spring formal at the school tomorrow night. Come with me. And she was like, come with me, you and do what? He's like, be a chaperone. And she was like, she thought about it. Point being, she ended up deciding to go. In some ways, depending on how healed your God ordained spouse is, there may be temptation from the other person for them to come back. Meaning, they might still try, the counterfeit may still try to come in. Don't mean that they're going to accept it, but the enemy knows that if you know that this person is still trying to be in contact, whether the person calls their phone and it's sitting on the table, and you see the number or the name pop up on the phone, or they're out, or you're out at an event with your spouse, or you go to the same coffee shop and run into that person. But whatever that is not that there's anything going on. It's the fact that that person wants an in, but they don't have it, so they're looking for one. For you, it may look like, if you got triggers on you, it may look like, oh, this person's trying to play me. Don't fall for the okie doke that the enemy is going to try to plant seeds of doubt and confusion and fear in your head, that your relationship is not secure. When they let that person go, they let that person go. God would not have let them into your life if it wasn't done. Because he already knew that Elroy sees all things. He sees from the beginning to the end. So he knows that if that person still even had an inkling of an edge, to still have the ability to want to go back to that person, he would have never let that person in your life. No, it's a no. He wasn't going to let them come in and mess up what he's trying to build with y'all. So, but there's going to be, the enemy's going to allow trigger points just to test, to see if your solidarity to this person is there. So know that it's going to happen, because some of y'all have even seen it and y'all ain't even with the person yet. Things popping up on your feed to make you jealous, things to pop up on your feed to make you feel a certain way, things popping up on your feed to make you feel like this whole thing ain't even going in the direction that the Lord has been showing you. All of that is an illusion. And if the enemy is cunning, he will make the pieces look real like something going on. But you have to have discernment to know, God wouldn't put you in that situation if that person was going to do that to you. Okay? So with that being said, I ain't got much time, but point being, she ends up choosing to go to the spring formal with him. And they arrive at the spring formal, and he puts a corsage on her arm. Your God-ordained spouse is going to be willing to do regular things with you that are outside of what you may have perceived to be the purview of what they naturally and normally would do for the level of person that they are. They are down to earth, so they're going to be interested in going to your family's reunion. They're going to be interested in going to the bowling alley with you. They're going to be interested in going to the state fair with you. They're going to be interested in doing the little things that you might think is way beneath their caliber. But they're still human too. They're going to want to do regular things with you, because it pulls them outside of everything up here and allows them to have their down to earth moments. These people want to have and be and feel normal. You are going to be a breath of fresh air. Remember how enchanted the guy felt? Enchanted by the fact that she was so innocent? It's the innocence of the day-to-day things that you are used to that they're going to be enamored by and want to do with you, because it allows them to remember what it was like to be that average person. If you go to the homeless shelters and feed the homeless, they're going to go with you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to cut it here, and we're going to see if we can get to the next part. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.